In today's video, we are going to explore the peekaboo technique. Not only does this technique create the most amazing effects and depth, but it also allows you to use the most beautiful products available to you, the artist, in the fluid art world. So get out those notepads and pencils and let's get started. Hello, my friend. Welcome back to another video. So today, the star of our painting is going to be one of these beautiful foils from Artistic Painting Studios. They have an array of different patterns and looks, and I implore you to go check out their website. Today, we are using the sparkle red foil in a unique way, and they also sell these beautiful texture rollers that you can use on your walls, on your art, texture art, all types of things. So be sure to check out the website and use my discount code for a 10% discount. So typically you would take these foils and you would put an adhesive down, lay them on top, peel it up, and what it does is it leaves that beautiful red or whatever color you're using behind on your canvas. However, for my peekaboo technique today, I'm not going to be doing that. I'm going to be taking some Elmer's Craft Bond, which is just a spray form of their glue. I'm spraying it on a wood canvas, and then I'm laying the foil right on top, and I'm not peeling it up, just leaving it there. And because I crinkled up the foil before putting it down, now it looks like I got a beautiful crushed red velvet. Check this out. Woo-wee, baby. That is going to be magnificent. So, I'm about to show you how to create some amazing, amazing art. And first thing I have to do, though, is seal the surface in so that when I do my design, it won't look all bumpy and rigid-y, and we want to preserve that background. So for that, I'm going to use some KS Liquid Art Ultra UV Resin. I want you to think of it as this. I'm taking a liquid, pouring it over that surface, and once it hardens up, it's going to be like a sheet of glass over the top, and it's going to enclose all those wrinkles so that they don't interfere with our design. If you would like to see this technique done with acrylic pouring paints, I'll link that video in the description. So next, we are going to explore a new product that I just picked up. And let me tell you something, this little guy was very handy, especially for my tired hands. So this is a LF Sum handheld epoxy mixer, and it's meant for smaller amounts of epoxy. Now, it'll probably tell you it can mix a large amount, but I'm telling you, 8 ounces and under, it's perfect for it. But I got this kit for $14, and look at all the supplies that came with it. Silicone cups, silicone mats, even stir sticks and pipettes. A really great deal for the price. So I'm going to try it out along with some beautiful epoxy pigments from artisttilldeath.com. I have a black cherry tint. I have a white, gold, and then I'm using KS resin, of course. So when it comes to mixing your resin is going to come in two bottles, a part A and a part B. What you want to do is pour part B first because it's thinner. If you're going to mix up 8 ounces of resin, you want to mix up 4 ounces of hardener and 4 ounces of resin, not 8 ounces of each. Okay, so that's very important. So put the hardener in the cup first. It'll make mixing very much easier. And then pour in part A, as you just saw me do. I'm going to turn on my hand mixer here and look at this little guy go. It was really great, again, for a small amount of resin like this. I do have a bigger machine for larger amounts of resin, but I like this little guy for these, really small cups of resin. Not that it's really small, but you get my point. Anything 10 ounces and under is good with this little mixer. So now I want to mix up my colors. And because I'm trying to do a peekaboo effect, I do not need a lot of color. So I got 3 cups from that kit that I got, filled them up with the resin after it was mixed. I added the black cherry to one of the cups, a little bit of my liquid gold to another cup, and then some of the Color Passion Top Cell White. And you just mix them up thoroughly, and that's all there is to it. Again, all of these pigments plus so many more colors are available. artisttilldeath.com. Discount code is just my name, Tammy. So here comes the fun, my friend. We're going to put some clear resin in a cup, and then we're going to drizzle our colors in and separate them by using more clear resin. So you see I poured the red into the clear, and then I put some more clear. Then I poured a little bit of the white, some more clear, a little more red, and then gold. And, you just layer it. I can't keep up. You want to layer your colors with clear in between them. Stick the stick in there and swirl it around 3 or 4 times just to get them to blend together. Don't overdo it. And then the next step will be pouring it out onto that dry or cured resin surface that we did earlier. Look at how beautiful this is. So the idea here is by adding that large amount of clear into our cup, hopefully it will land in areas where it will block the color from going over, and you'll be able to see that beautiful crushed red velvet looking foil poking through in areas, okay? Now, I'm going to give you a little tip here. Go easy on the white and the gold if you choose to use those 2 colors, or any colors for that matter, because it is very easy for it to take over. So in my cup, I added just a little too much of the white and the gold. Even though there was hardly any in there, I needed to use about half of what I did. But I will say, I show you a second painting with the same exact technique and colors at the end of this video, and you're going to see how much of a difference it makes when you use less. But first, before I show you that, we have to work on this one. So I took a clear piece of plastic, and this is where resin is really fun. You can manipulate the colors, and it's extremely hard to create mud or to ruin a resin painting. The colors, just the way they move around in that medium, it's a total different experience than acrylic paint. So I used the piece of plastic just to do some contouring and work on my composition and move it around a little bit. And I will tell you that at the end of this video, I am just shocked at how beautiful both paintings came out. This one is a little more subtle with the peekaboo effect, but the second one is amazing. So if you prefer to use a palette knife, you can just make sure you wipe it off really good with an alcohol wipe when you're done. Resin will not peel off of metal, but it will peel off of plastic. So now I have my heat gun out, and I'm just kind of heating up the resin and lightly blowing it around. I'm not making any major moves here with the heat. I'm just trying to cover up some of the areas where it's a little bare and just kind of blend the colors together. If you love this type of art, I do have a playlist on my channel named Resin Art, and you can see a few more resin art projects under that. So once I'm done moving this around, I will come back in with some of my white and some of my gold, and I'll follow some of the curves and the movement of the painting just to add in a little bit more of those 2 colors, even though I really didn't need it. But in the end, again, it turned out just absolutely gorgeous. So I was happy that I did it. Now I'm just using the heat to lightly move that white a little bit. It's not a big major push of the color, just a nice little breakup of the color, if you will. I'm going over these areas kind of quickly with you because there is a second part to this where I show in slow motion just what you need to do to achieve this kind of look. And again, with all of my pieces, they somehow seem to start off a hot mess, but in the end, it all comes together. So just take a look at this and enjoy the effects. You could see the beautiful effects of the gold. You could see that red background poking through in some areas. You can see some light lacing and cells with the white. And again, you're going to wait till the end of this video. The fun thing with resin is that it wants you to do another layer on top of it. It wants you to keep going and going. There have been paintings that I've made that have 10 layers of design work on top of each other. And all that does is make it more and more 3D and give you more effects. And here's a little tip for you if you're new to resin. Always have a nice little silicone mold on hand, especially if your table is clean when you start working like mine is, because here's what you can do with all of those drips that fall onto the table. Grab yourself a mold, just start dumping the resin that's on the table into that mold. If you don't have enough to fill the mold, let it sit until your next project and fill it up with whatever you have the next time. Even if the colors don't match from your next project, I find just pouring this stuff, the leftovers, whatever you have left, pouring it all into the mold, sometimes you end up with a really unique little embellishment that you can make. Now, the back of my mold has a bunch of air bubbles because my resin was so thick when I put it in there. The bubbles essentially rose throughout the curing process, and that's why they're there. They didn't get a chance to pop, but it's okay. It's not a big deal. That's the back. Check out the front of this. I mean, look at how pretty and unique that is. All from my leftovers and my drips that are on the table. So again, always make sure you have a mold on hand and just dump all the scraps into it and see what you end up with. It's like Christmas morning. All right, so now I'm going to show you part 2 of this video, which is a 18-inch round. So I've mixed my resin up already. I did the exact same thing to the background. I put down the foil and then sealed it with a layer of resin. But you're going to notice this dirty cup that I'm pouring, I'm using a lot more clear and that transparent red and much less of the white. And for this one, I did not add gold in at all. I figured I'll add that in afterwards by hand and we'll see how it comes out. All right. And this way here, it came out so much better. Those colors just didn't have a chance to take over. Another thing I did on this second one was, even though there's a clear coat of resin that's cured on that surface already, I took some clear resin and just smeared it all over the surface so that when I added the colors, they would move a little bit easier for me and not drag like they were the last time. So I poured out my cup. Look at that beautiful cinnamon swirl, we'll call it. That's what it reminds me of the ribbon candies at Christmas time. Poured it out, and then I made another small dirty cup with just the red, clear, and white. Poured around a little more around the edges to add a little more color. And then I took my heat gun, same thing as the last time, just kind of blew it around just a tiny bit until the entire board was covered by that dirty pour cup, okay? And with that first layer of resin that I put down, it moved a lot better. So now I'm just looking at the composition. There's no right or wrong way to do this. I kind of just look at the composition and I follow along with adding my white to where I see some bends and some curves. So I'm taking my white and just kind of lightly putting it in there. And then I'm going to do the heat, blow the heat on it. Not do the heat, Tammy. I'm going to blow the white with my heat gun, which is on low, by the way. and I'm just ever so slightly moving it, as you can see. This is the way I did the first one too. So this is on real time, just lightly blowing it. And then I did the same with my gold color resin. I just kind of put it in there and wiggled it around through the clear resin. And it's, again, it's so easy to do. I mean, what you see right here, that's all you got to do. Put some on a stick and kind of just drag it through your resin. So we're going to let this cure now and move on. Okay, I am much happier with this one. You can see a lot more of the background. So you saw the little tiny bit of white I put in there and how much I still have on my board. So the white definitely take over. I think the best way to do this is how you saw me do it. Just glue down the foil, put a clear coat of resin over it, let that cure, come in, moisten the surface with some clear resin, and then do your dirty pour on top of that with minimal white and or gold. The gold I didn't even add into the cup this time, and I like it much better. So here you can see, and show you just how 3D resin looks. Look at that stripe of gold. This one right here that's going up like this. It looks like you could just pick it up. This is what I love about resin, just the amount of depth that you can get with it. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to move on back to my original painting. I'm going to do a clear coat with that and just a little more gold to give a little more dimension to the painting. And then we will take the final look. Look at that. I mean, it looks like you could just pick that white right up off of the board. I love this stuff. So here's the one thing you can't achieve with acrylic pouring, and that is creating layers of depth. And this is why, again, I know I say this all the time, I love this art form. I don't show it a lot on this channel because I know some of you don't want to use it. But I'm telling you, if you can get over your fear and just get into it, go for it. I, too, was very scared to use it for the first time, but I'm telling you, once you try it, you know, it's so much fun. So now I went and put some clear resin over my surface, and I'm going to follow these gold lines that I already have from the last layer, using some of my liquid gold again. So I poured a little bit into my cup of clear resin, and this is what it turns into. I then take some of that and just drag it right through the clear wet resin. And I'm kind of tracing over those lines, but I'm not. I'm kind of going off the path a little bit. And this way it's going to create this amazing 3D look. And it's going to look like these, you know, little branches that are just twirling around through my painting. If you want to, you can let this cure and then do another layer of clear with just gold, just like I'm doing right now. As a matter of fact, I'm going to work on a painting like that, which you'll see in the future, where I do, you know, maybe 7, 8 layers of this type of work. And you'll just be astonished at what you're able to create. So once I finished doing this, what I will do is I will let it cure overnight for 24 hours, come back in and put a clear coat of resin over the top. Whenever you're done with the artwork part of this type of art, you should always seal it in with a clear coat of resin just to give it its maximum UV resistance, okay? Look at this gold. Is that just not beautiful? This painting, I'm so very happy with the way it turned out, even though you can't see my peekaboo background too much. You can in person see it in areas a lot better than you can on this video. Look at this. It's just phenomenal. I'm absolutely loving the colors. I'm loving the way that the gold and the white made almost like this beige-ish, I can't say it,
beige-ish color. And the white and the red made pink in areas. So all is well on this 14 by 18 canvas, which, by the way, is available for purchase if you're interested. You can always shoot me an email at artbytammy@yahoo.com. So now that we've finished that one, let's move on to the second layer on our round painting. So it cured overnight. I came back the next day, added a clear layer of KS resin to it, and while that was wet, I took some clear resin, mixed in some of my liquid gold, and again, put it on a stick and started just wiggling it through the clear resin, which, let me give you a tip about these popsicle sticks. If you want to make lines like this, use a bigger tongue depressor because you'll be able to hold more resin on the stick and therefore it will not run out like during your path that you're making. So if you use a regular size popsicle stick, it can't hold enough and your lines when you're trying to make them will break and then you'll have to go in and it'll be noticeable where you restart the lines. So try to use a bigger stick and you'll be able to make longer paths with it. Look at this stuff. It's like somebody took gold chain and just draped it over the painting. Absolutely beautiful. And on this one, you can really see my peekaboo background. So we're going to put this one to rest. And then I'm going to come back and show you the final results. Righty, here we go with final results and some big news. So here is the round. Look how beautiful that background is peekabooing out at us. This really, really inspires me to just keep going and coming up with more innovative things to pass along to you to try out. Again, if you want to try this technique in acrylic because you don't like resin, you can go check out the acrylic part that I did 2 videos ago, 1 video ago. I can't even remember. I'll try to link it in the description for you. But this is just absolutely beautiful. And those foils, again, are the star of this show. Check out Artistic Painting Studio and look at all the different patterns they got. You can use them on clothing, glass, wood, furniture, all kinds of things. There are just, she has a ton of tutorials. So make sure you follow Jen also when you go to that website because she'll have her YouTube channel and all that listed, okay? Here is the first painting that I'm showing you secondly here. Again, absolutely gorgeous. That gold and the foil is the winner. It's just so hard for me to come up with words when I look at this and I'm doing the voiceover and I'm trying to explain it to you because I do get almost emotional from art when I make it, and this one just makes me really, really happy. I think the word that comes to mind is serenity. So that's it for this painting. If you are interested in it, it is a 14 by 18 on a DaVinci Pro panel with 3/4 inch wood sides, all natural wood. And you can send me an email, artbytammy@yahoo.com, if you are interested in it. Just be sure to reference which painting it is because there are 2 in this video. So one of the biggest questions I always get is how do you clean the back of the painting? This applies for either acrylic pouring or resin art. The first thing and most important thing is you always want to tape the back side of your painting off. So I just use some masking tape, tape off the back before I even start my art. Then once I'm done with my art, I will take a heat gun, heat up the drips that are on the back, and then I will simply just remove the tape and the drips come right off with the tape. Now, if you're using just acrylic paint and something like a varnish,
You don't have to heat the drips to remove them, but with resin, you most definitely want to heat them. Never ever use a torch. A torch will cause the tape to catch on fire, and you do not want that. So just use a little bit of heat, and they will peel up very easily like a hot knife through butter. And that's it, my friend. I hope today's video helped you in some way, or at least inspired you to think outside of the box and get creative. If you have any questions, you can leave them in the comments below. Don't forget to check out the description for all the coupons I have to save you some money, where you can buy these supplies, ways to follow me, and other important information related to this video. If you're interested in this painting, send me an email. I love you all. Thank you so very much for joining me. And until the next time, which is next Sunday, 3:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, happy pouring. Exciting news. The 2024 Learn to Pour Tour kicks off next Sunday with open registration for Jacksonville, Florida, April 2024. If you are interested in attending this class on April 13th and 14th, 2024, and want to be added to the waiting list for next Sunday's pre-registration event, send me an email, artbytammy@yahoo.com. Don't miss the chance to learn all you need to know to be a successful pour artist.